Look guys, today we're gonna start with one-dimensional kinematics. Well, kinematics is a study of motion of objects. So in order to understand kinematics, we should first get ourselves acquainted with three basic terms in kinematics. That is displacement, velocity, and acceleration. So in this video, I'm gonna start with displacement. Alright, so let's just begin. Okay. People often get confused between displacement and distance. So these two quantities are entirely different. So let me just give you an example. Let's just say that I'm at point A over here. I'm at point A. Right? So from point A, I'm moving to point B. Let's say the distance between B and A is 3 units. After reaching point B, let's say that I change my direction and I move back to point C. So distance between A and C is, let's say, 2 units. So distance between B and C is gonna be 1. That's total distance being 2 plus 1, that is 3. So my overall motion is first from A to B, then from B to C. Initial position B, A, final position C. This is B. So now, if you have to find out what is the distance traveled in this whole journey, first I traveled from A to B. So distance I traveled is 2 plus 1, that is 3, when I traveled from A to B. Then I traveled from B to C, that is 1 units. Distance between C and B is 1. So then after first journey I traveled from B to C. So I traveled 1 extra unit. So my distance traveled by me in overall journey is gonna be equal to 3 plus 1. As I first traveled from A to B, then B to C. So 3 plus 1. That is 4. So my distance traveled is gonna be equal to 4 units. Now what's my displacement? Always remember that displacement is the final position minus initial position. Displacement is a change in positions. I was earlier at point A. Then I reached point C. After the whole journey, reached point C. So my final position is C. My initial position is A. So my displacement is final position minus initial position, that is C minus A. That is gonna be equal to C minus A is 2. So my displacement is 2 units. That is the change in the positions. So displacement doesn't take into account the path that got you there. For instance, if you travel from A to B, first the straight path, then you took some random path, alright, some curved zigzag path. Displacement in both these paths, you're finally reaching at point B and your initial position was point A. So your displacement is gonna be B minus A, irrespective of the path. But the distance in the second path is obviously gonna be more. So distance changes with path, but the displacement was only relevant to the initial and final positions. So distance, that's the basic difference between distance and displacement. Now there's another difference, that is displacement is termed as vector quantity, whereas distance is scalar one. Now, for those who don't know what is vector and a scalar, well, vector is any quantity with a direction, whereas a scalar quantity is just a magnitude. It doesn't have any direction. So let's say I have a coordinate axis, I have two coordinate axes, and if I assume that this position, this direction is positive, then the direction opposite is gonna be negative. So if I travel from this point to this direction, my displacement is gonna be positive. Whereas if I travel from, let's say this is B, this is A. If I travel from A to B, my displacement is gonna be positive because of the direction. But if I travel from B to A, my direction is gonna be this, so my displacement is gonna be negative. Whereas distance in both the cases is just the same. Distance between A and B doesn't change with direction. As distance doesn't have any direction, it's always positive, it is never negative. So distance is a scalar quantity. It's never negative and it doesn't have any direction. Whereas displacement can be negative and it does have a direction. So it's a vector quantity. So that's the basic difference between displacement and distance. Thank you.